Hey you guys, it's Lauren. Welcome to my channel. So today I am so excited because in today's video we're going to be doing 5 wearable makeup looks from the Norvina palette. I could not wait to have this palette in my hand, you guys. I don't know why, I've just always loved purple toned eyeshadows. Just that cool tone look has always been my thing. And I just feel like we were so overdue for a cool toned moment. I feel like there's been so many warm toned palettes out. So yeah, I could not wait to have this in my hands. So in today's video we're going to be doing 5, I think, pretty easy eyeshadow looks. So I've been watching a ton of tutorials for this palette and, you know, everything is so just gorgeous and intense and dramatic, and I mean, that's great if you're into that look, and all these people are so talented that create these looks, but I just can't. First of all, it's not realistic in my everyday life, and my eyelids just don't allow for most of those looks. I have a hooded eye, so I've been playing with this palette a lot, and for the most part I've been doing more like neutral toned looks, but it's nice because this palette allows you to do like a pop of color here and there with a pop of shimmer, and these are just all easy wearable everyday looks, but I feel like they push the envelope a little bit because they have a pop of color, or the technique's a little different. Like this one look is more of a halo eye, and then I did a brownie toned eye with a pink shimmer, and just fun things. So if you guys are into those kind of looks, and if you have my kind of eye shape, that hooded eye, you know, if you don't have a lot of lid space that you're working with, I want to share with you guys some tips that I use just to kind of open up my eyes a little bit more. And I also want to share with you my thoughts on this palette. So yeah, we'll just get right into it. So we'll get right to it. So first let's talk about the color range. I think it's absolutely beautiful what Norvina did with this palette. I love that she created an equal mix of shimmers and mattes. You have your shimmers on the top and then the mattes on the bottom. And for the most part, the palette is all cool tone shades. You have your purples and pops of pinks here, but then she also added some warm tone shades. You have the shade Eccentric down here and Passion. So it's nice that you can kind of warm up your look if you like more of a warmer toned look. And as far as the shadow formula goes, so they blend really nicely, really evenly. I didn't have any problems with blending them out. Yes, they have a ton of fallout, so if that bothers you, I feel like Anastasia palettes might not be for you because most of them do have a lot of fallout. And as far as the color payoff from these, I feel like they're really intense. So some of them are a little more opaque than others. Like there's these 2 shadows, I think, yeah, it was a Wild Child, this cool tone pink, and Eccentric, this warmer toned brown. They were more on the sheer side for me. I feel like I didn't really get a ton of pigmentation from them. But once you build them up, the colors are really intense, and I just feel like they're so unique. Like I don't have anything like those 2 shades in my collection, so I really appreciated that. And how gorgeous is this color Soul? I could not wait to play with that. I just feel like it's so unique. The mattes definitely perform better than the shimmers in my opinion. I feel like the shimmers had way more fallout and you really had to build them up. And you'll notice when I go through these looks how I kind of overcome the struggle I had with some of these shimmers. But again, once you build up the color, they are really beautiful, really intense. The shine that they give is just so gorgeous. They almost have that mirror-like finish, really intense. So yeah, you just have to build them up. Some of them are definitely on the sheer side, but for the most part, I feel like this palette performed really well. And my favorite part about this palette has to be the color range. I knew when I saw all these purples and these pinks that I had to have it. It just screamed my name. So that definitely helps me to get over the struggles I had with some of these shimmers up here. I just think it's a gorgeous palette, and yeah, it's definitely one of my new favorites. I have not been able to put this down since I've received this. The brush I think I already lost, but it's the same Anastasia brush you get in all the palettes, and it's okay. I mean, it does what you need it to. I don't use it on a daily basis. I do like the flat edge of it. I feel like it's nice to pack on color, but the one rounded edge I feel like is a little scratchy, but it's not too bad. So we'll get into the eye look. So I went from kind of a neutral to a more dramatic eye. So I finished with this eye here. This is more of like your halo type eye. I really like this look. I feel like it's a fun smoky look, but I did a dramatic purple eye. I did a brown eye with a pop of pink. I played with this Soul color down here and I put that on my bottom lash. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this palette. So hopefully you guys enjoy all these looks, and yeah, we'll get right into it. All right, you guys, so I'm just gonna go ahead and dive right in. So the first look I'm going to do is just truly my everyday eye look. This is just my go-to. I usually like to do more of a neutral eye that's more defined in the crease, and then I like to highlight my inner lid. So real simple look. So I'm going to start off with the first shade. I'm going to go in with this color Base over here. The shade name could not be more appropriate. It's just a neutral color. Not too yellow, not too white. It's just perfect for starting off your look, and I just like it because it evens out your eyelid, takes away any of the oiliness, and my eyes definitely get oily, so I appreciate a shade like this in a palette. I will usually pass on a palette if it doesn't have just a neutral tone shade like this, because I just feel like it's so helpful just to start off your look. Now I will say, if you're looking for a really pigmented lid color, I feel like skipping that first base shade is completely okay. I feel like it actually intensifies the pigment in a shadow, so you don't always have to go in with that neutral eyeshadow, but it does help to kind of soften out that eye look and to give your eye more of like that gradient look. And then for my transition shade, I'm going to go in with this shade Incense right here. It's just a neutral tone brown. It's not too cool toned, it's not too warm toned. It's just the perfect color for a transition shade. Now this is extremely pigmented, so you want to go in with a light hand. You can always work up your transition shade, but I like to start off light, and then if I feel like I need more shadow, I can just add more. And again, that also I feel like gives more of a natural look to your eye. But I just go back and forth in windshield wiper motions. And honestly, I feel like you could stop right there and be done if you just want an easy everyday eye look. I feel like the simple fact of just adding a deeper shade above that lid just helps to define your crease, and it just makes your eyes look more awake. Especially if you have a hooded eye, adding that deeper shade is going to lift your eye as well. So getting that color right above the lid right there is really going to help to just open the eye up and just to add some more definition to your eye. So honestly, some days I just go out of the house like this and I feel like it's enough. But if you want to add even more definition, you could deepen that outer V. I'm going to go with the shade Volatile. It's just more of like a milk chocolate brown. So people are not lying when they say these have a ton of fallout. They really do, but it really doesn't bother me. I feel like even though it has a lot of fallout in the pan, I'm not really getting a ton of fallout underneath my eyes. Now you'll see when I use the shimmers, there's definitely more fallout with the shimmers and the metallics. I feel like as far as the mattes go, it's really not too bad. So I'm just defining that outer edge with that deeper shade, and this also helps lift the eye and just almost like elongates the eye and pulls it outward. So also opens up your eye even more. I always like this cat eye look. I love like defining that outer edge. So my outer edge is deepened, but I do want a little more precision. So I'm going to go in with a pencil brush. This is one of my favorite tricks. And then it just helps to create more of a defined V. You could even go in more towards the inner corner of your eye, and it almost mimics the look of a cut crease. So yeah, I just really like this look for when I'm in a pinch or when I'm just being too lazy and I don't want to use the concealer trick for a cut crease. So yeah, I really like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go back into that shade Base. And I'm just going to highlight the brow bone with that. Sometimes I don't like an intense highlight on my brow bone. I just feel like a neutral shade can make it a little bit more natural looking. And then I like to tap off the excess and use whatever is left on the brush just to kind of smooth out that outer edge, just to make it a little more of a diffuse look, just so it blends in a little better. And then to highlight the inner corner, I'm going to go in with the shade Dreamer. This is a really intense, like creamy highlight. It's so pretty. I just use my fingers for this. Sometimes I feel like you get more intense pigmentation when you use your fingers. You can just pat it on. And I'm just going on my inner corner. I'm not going to bring it in towards the outer edge. And then for the last piece, I'm going to define the lower lashes with the shade Passion. This is almost a maroon brown. It's really pretty. It's just a deep brown with a slight reddish undertone to it. Alright, so that's it. That's my final look. Let me just go ahead and add mascara. You guys know I have raved about this. This is the Flower Beauty mascara. This is just so good. And then for my lower lashes, I use the Glossier Lash Slick. This is great for your lower lashes because it really separates. Love it. And yeah, this is the look. I love this neutral tone look. It's funny, I started off by saying this would be more of a brownie neutral tone look, but now looking at it, I feel like it looks more purple than I thought it would. So it turns out these browns in here, it's kind of weird because even in the pan, Incense and Volatile, you don't really notice the purples, but on the eye, I don't know, what do you guys think? I feel like it looks pretty purple. But yeah, I love this look, and this is the look you see me wearing most. I feel like this is just my go-to look. It's just really easy. So yeah, there's my neutral eye look. Alright, so I washed that eye look off. Hopefully I don't have any remnants, but we're just going to go ahead and go with it. Now we're going to have some fun with some pinks. So I wanted to go ahead, I think I'm going to experiment with this shade Eccentric. We're going to go in with Love. Of course, we're going to start with the shade Base, and then we might add some pops of golds and rose golds here. So we'll first start with Base again. I like that this isn't completely matte too. I feel like it doesn't really have shimmer in it, but it has the tiniest flecks in here just to give your eye like a little bit of illumination. Alright, and then for a transition color, we're going to go in with the shade Eccentric. So this was the one matte shade that I felt like was a little sheer, which I feel like might be good for a transition color. It's almost like an orangey brown. I feel like it will really complement the pinks pretty well. Alright, and then I'm going to pack on the shade Love on my lid here. This looks so pretty. It's almost a cross between like a mauve and a pink. This is one of my favorite shades in the palette. It reminds me a lot of the Back Talk shade in the Urban Decay Back Talk palette, only a little more of an intense pink. The one in the Back Talk palette is a little more mauve. I like that one as a transition color, but this is really pretty on the lid. Okay, and then I'm going to deepen that outer edge just a little bit, not too crazy. I'm just going to go in, I don't want to go too deep with Volatile. I'm going to go in with Incense over here. And then I'm going to pack Wild Child on the lid. This is like the perfect cool toned Barbie pink. It's so pretty. This is the one shimmer that I felt like did have the most fallout, but let's see how it applies to the lid. Alright, I'm not really getting much color payoff there. It's pretty sheer. Let me see if I can use my finger and see if that helps. Okay, yeah, that definitely helps. So you might need to use your finger with some of these foil shadows in here. Oh, that's super pretty though. I love that. Okay, so here's that final cool tone pink look. I'm kind of obsessed with this, you guys. I don't usually wear pink a lot, but I think I'm going to start wearing this more often because it just looks so pretty and it's wearable. It's not like too crazy and out of the box where you can't wear it every day. So yeah, I really like this. The pink is so pretty. Now I will say when I was working with it, it was getting a little patchy. It was on the sheerer side and I was almost afraid to open my eyes and blink because it kept transferring onto the transition shade. So I kept having to use a brush and diffusing that extra fallout off. But once you pack it on, it does look really pretty, and I do appreciate that intense, like, cool tone pink shade. It's something I don't have in my collection, so I think it's really pretty. So, yeah, really happy with this look, and on to the next. Okay, and then for the third look, I'm going to go in with more brown tones on the upper lid, and then the lower lid, I'm going to go in with this gorgeous shade right here. This is probably my favorite in the palette. This is called Soul. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like a periwinkle shade. It's so pretty. So, yeah, let's start off with base again. So I started off again with base, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the transition shade with this shade Eccentric. This is the one that we used in the last pinky eye look. And this time I'm going a little bit more intense with this transition color. This shade is so pretty. I think this is going to be my new transition shade. I just love the warmth in the shadow. It's gorgeous. Okay. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now next I'm going to go back in with Incense and do the outer corner. And then I'm just going to soften those edges with a clean brush. Well, not exactly clean, but you know what I mean. I didn't add any extra shadow or anything. Okay, and then I think I'm going to go in with this shade, what is this called? It's like a bronzy color. This shade Dazzling. This looks gorgeous. I'm going to go in all over the lid with that. And I'm going to pack it on with a flat top brush. Let's see if I can get by without using my finger this time. These shimmers are super creamy, but they have so much fallout, and I really feel like, I don't know, doesn't that look pretty sheer on my eye? Alright, I'm going to go back in with my finger. I wonder if it would make a difference if I used glitter glue. They look so pretty once you pack on the color. It's just a matter of building that color up. And then I'm going to highlight the inner corner with Dreamer. And I'm going to go in with Volatile and just give almost like a shadow-like wing just on that upper lid, just on the edges. And I'm just going in with an angled brush. This is the same exact brush that I use for my eyebrows. I love doing a shadow wing. I just feel like it's so well, first of all, it's so easy, but it's just really nice and soft looking. It's not as harsh and intense as using a liquid liner. Then I'm going to go back into Eccentric over here, that same shade I used for the transition color, just to add some more warmth to this. I didn't realize even in that shimmer shade there's a lot of purple, so I feel like it really, you know, made the look more cool toned. And then I'm going to go back into Eccentric and add it to the outer lid, just that outer corner, to deepen it up a little bit and to add a little bit more warmth to the look. This is really the only warm tone shadow in the palette. well, this and that passion shade, that deeper maroon shade. So you can add this color if you want to warm up a look. Alright, so I love the warmth on the lid. I like how it's kind of working with the cool tones in the look too. I think I want to add a pop of color though, so I'm going to go back in on the lower lash line with this shade here, that periwinkle shade. I thought when I bought this palette that this was more blue tone, but I feel like it definitely has more purple in it. So pretty. Okay, so here is the final look. I'm loving this. I love the pop of bluish purple on the lower lid. I think it's so pretty with the warmth in the lid. I just think it makes everything pop. So yeah, I love this so much. I like how this look, you're kind of stepping out of the box a little bit. It's still fun, but it's still a wearable look. So really pretty, love this, and let's get to the next one. Okay, so for the next look, I'm gonna do like a dramatic gold purpley smoky eye. So for the outer corner, or maybe the lid, I'm gonna go in with the shade Drama, and then all over the lid, I'm gonna do Celestial, and then maybe a little bit of Summer. We'll see how it pans out. So again, I'll start again with base. Okay, and then to accent the purple on the lid, I'm gonna do Love as a transition shade. I think this is so pretty, like a little pop of pink behind a purple look. I don't know, just like a fun accent. Okay, and then on the outer V, I'm gonna go in with Drama. Okay, and then I'm going to pull that up a little bit with just a clean brush here, just to kind of move it up towards the transition color. And then in the middle, I'm going to go in with Celestial right here. So this is like a true, like, bright purple. Oh, that looks so pretty. It really gives it a pop. Oh my gosh, I love that. And then on the inner corner, I'm going to go in with Summer. I'm going to use my fingers again. Again, I just feel like it's easier just to pack these shades on. The mattes blend out so easily. It's just hard to pack on these shimmers with a brush. Now that purple actually went on pretty easily with a brush, but... And then I'm going to go back in with the shade Drama and go on the lower lash line. And then I'm just going to go in with my Glossier Water and just clean everything up a bit. I love doing this, especially with this sponge. This is the EcoTools Beauty Sponge. I just love the flat edge on it. It's just so easy to clean up your eyeshadow. Now I'm just being lazy and I'm using Glossier Lash Lick on the top lashes as well. Oh, so pretty. I am obsessed with this look. Purple tones have always been my thing ever since in high school. I don't know if you guys remember, Almay came out with these little palettes and it was in the shape of an eye, and they were catered towards different eye colors. Like one was for blue eyes, one was for hazel, and I remember buying the one for hazel eyes and it was all purple tone shadows. So I feel like I wore purple tone shadows for like 5 to 10 years after that palette. So yeah, I've just always been addicted to purple eye looks and purple shadows, everything purple. So yeah, but I love this so much. It looks so pretty. I just love how the gold accentuates the purple. I feel like it really brings out that purple tone. And I love that little pop of purple in the middle. That Celestial shade is so beautiful. So yeah, love this, and on to the last look. Okay, so last look here, I'm gonna go in and do more of a deeper, smokier brown look. And I'm going to use the shade, I think I'm going to go in with the rose gold in the center. We're going to go for more of like a halo look. And then I'm going to go and use Passion and a little bit of Volatile on the outer corner. So just a deeper look. So I'm going to start again with base. And then for transition, I'm going to use the shade Incense. Do you guys notice the pattern? I feel like I've used Incense for like every transition color besides that pink. But I just feel like this is just the perfect color to pull everything together. Okay, and then I'm going to use the shade Passion for the halo effect. So I'm going to put a little bit on the inner corner of my eye and the outer corner, and then I'm going to connect it with almost like a circle on top, so it's going to give that almost globe-like effect. So I'm just packing that shade Passion on the outer corner and then a little bit on the inner corner. And then you're leaving almost like a spotlight in the center of the eye, and that will just allow the eye to have a more like rounded shape. Okay, and then I'm going to go back into it using the little spit, and then I'm just going to connect the two ends, almost like how you would a transition shade, but just more of like a rounded stroke. Okay, and then for that spotlight, the center of the eye, I'm going to use this rose gold shade. This looks so pretty, and I feel like it's the perfect shade to, you know, accentuate the middle of the lid. Again, I think I'm gonna have to go in and use my finger, if that's okay. I think a halo look is so fun when you're doing like a deeper, smokier eye like this. For me, I don't usually do it too much because I feel like sometimes it can close off my eyes because it almost shortens the appearance of your eye. But I don't know, for a smoky eye, I just think it's like something fun and different. And then for the lower lash, I'm going to go back in with the shade Passion and use an angled tip brush and just press it against that lower lash line just to give it more of like a defined like eyeliner look rather than that like smoked out diffused look. So here is the final look. I just finished it up by smudging that Passion shade on my lower lash line and just adding a little bit of a wing with it. So I really like how it turned out. This is one of my favorites. This is really fun for nighttime, even daytime. I feel like it's not too smoky for a daytime look. So yeah, I just love how they all turned out. I'm so happy with all the looks. Thank you guys for sticking out through this whole video. I know it was a long one, and thanks for bearing with me with all the lighting changes, and I know sometimes I was a little out of focus. I'm still learning here. It turns out I had to switch up my lens to get more of like a wider angle. Those lower lenses can be so precise, but if you go slightly deeper or slightly more shallow within the frame, I think you just get blurry. So I'm still learning, but thank you guys for sticking with me through all this. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these looks. I'd love to hear how you guys are using the Norvina palette. What's your favorite go-to look with it? I would love to hear. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See you guys.